Every religion has truth, but not one is true.
Ali Hasseb.
Grew up in the hood of Houston, Middle Eastern parents, Muslim upbringing. When I was 16 years old, I saw a really, really good friend of mine shot and killed in front of me. And then that moment, I switched my first paradigm shift in life. When I went to college, complete new identity, laid the foundation for business, for networking, for sales, for speaking. A month after I graduated, corporate job. I ended up making my boss $49 million. I didn't get a piece. I quit. Now I'm an entrepreneur. Started a business, first year in business, $250,000.
How do we practice alchemy in our day-to-day lives?
You need to identify what it is you need to change.
The passing of your father and your brother. Would you consider that your darkest chapter?
Yeah, and it happened back to back. I made $4 million in a single month. The next month, my dad passed. Friday, my dad passed. Saturday, I buried him. Monday, back to work. Mask on, back to work. I have 40 employees. I have a mom. I have my 3 brothers. I have a brother that suffers from addiction. I have my girl. I have people counting on me.
What did grief teach you that success never could?
Good question, bro. These questions are fire. Grief taught me.
If I could have one moment of your time. Most of you guys listening or watching do not subscribe to the channel. The simple and easiest way to help and support us is to subscribe. It helps us get the guests that you guys want, and it gives us a more opportunity to grow this thing to where we want to take it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode. Kia ora.
Ali Hasseb, welcome
sir.
to the Martin Show, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
a.k.a. Ali The Alchemist. And
Yes,
I wanted
sir.
to start there, brother. The name. Where did Ali The Alchemist come from?
Great question, bro. So I had a group of friends in my first business. They were like my clients, my team, everyone that we went to masterminds together. And since I was doing brand building, they would call me Ali the Architect. They're like, "Oh, you're building all these brands. You're the back end. You're the architect. If you didn't create your structure, the whole brand would crumble. Everyone's systems would crumble because you're the glue that ties everyone together." And then I started applying these spiritual principles, and I'm like, "Hey guys, law of attraction. Oh, client didn't buy, detach, put the energy." So I kept saying that, and they were like, "What are you, an alchemist?" And someone was like, "Ali the Alchemist. That sounds cool," because alchemy is the study of changing one state to another. You know what? Have you heard of the term alchemy?
Yep, bro.
So it's an ancient art of turning one state to another. The ancient alchemists used to say lead to gold, metals into the highest form of the richest metals, which is gold, right? Considered gold. But in my opinion, it was an analogy. It wasn't physical matter into gold. It was energetic matter into the highest potential. So think about it. Ideas into execution, alchemy. Fat to fit, physical alchemy. Relationships, alchemy. Haters, alchemy. You have haters and you're getting the negative energy, you got to alchemize and give it back, either with love or with proof, evidence. A lot of people deal with that. A lot of entrepreneurs deal with it when you start making something. Even you just experienced it. That was a form of hater. Oh, writer? You're a fighter. You're not a writer. And you're like, "But I am. Look, I've done it. Here, look, check." Like, nah, not you. So that's a form. Even though it might be not malicious, it's still an energy that you gotta amplify and send back by continue doing it. Don't let it stop you. So anyway, alchemy is I think it just fits better than architect because I'm architecting life and stuff, but I'm alchemizing everything. The pain into purpose, the connections into capital, all that.
Yeah, before we dive into the world of alchemy more, I think it's important we get to know a little bit more about who Ali is.
Yes, sir.
What do you think we need to know about you, bro, to understand a little bit more about the life that you've lived?
I have a pretty crazy story. I say that I've lived like 7 or 8 different lives in the last 30 years, right?
Wow.
I grew up in the hood of Houston, Middle Eastern parents, Muslim upbringing, but I was dead center in the middle of the hood. So if you go right outside my house, good families, good neighborhood, Asian and Middle Eastern kids, everyone's in school, everyone's trying to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer. And then the minute you step to the left, hood, to a point where they have metal detectors in middle school. So kids were bringing guns and knives to school. So half the time I went this way because I knew what my parents wanted me to be, what society wanted me to be. And half the time I gravitated towards this way because I resonated more with I didn't fit in with the kids over here. And I kind of didn't fit in, but I wanted to fit in with the kids over here. So that's why I have half the elephant head. You see it?
Yeah, bro.
So this represents the identity crisis. A lot of people deal with identity crisis. What society wants them to be, what religion wants them to be, what their friends want them to be, what their parents want them to be, versus what they want to be. Okay? So unlike a lot of entrepreneurs, I went to college. And the reason I went to college, because I knew I couldn't live this life. Why I couldn't live this life? When I was 16 years old, I saw a really, really good friend of mine shot and killed in front of me. And 5 seconds ago, I was standing where he was standing. So that could have easily been me. And it was just luck of the draw, or God had a purpose for me. And I just stepped back a little. It was during a fight.
Wow.
And yeah, he got shot and killed. And I was like, and it didn't register until I got home. We're like, he's gone. Oh, shit. His name was Hayes. Hayes is gone. I was like, oh, fuck, that could have. And then when the whole community got involved, this and that, what happened? Oh, it was a opposing gang, this, that, whatever the issue was. I could have been, I was 16. You see, you know, that affected me a lot. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to be a hood kid, but I grew up with a nice, you know, family. My dad's a hardworking mechanic, making $700 a week, supporting a family of 6, you know? So I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I say that a lot. Who do I think I am? And then that moment, I switched paradigm, my first paradigm shift in life, where I'm like, wait, who says I have to be what my parents want? I don't have to be a Muslim kid that's going to memorize the Quran in Sunday school. I don't gotta be a lawyer or a doctor or engineer. And I don't gotta be hood. Why can't I just make my own culture? Like, this is I'm both. Why can't I embrace both? And I did. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try in school. Watch. So 16 to 18, 2 years, 10th grade, the first 10 years I didn't try. The first 10 grades, 11th grade, 12th grade, I tried. Ended up 3.8 GPA, caught up, beat everybody, got a full scholarship to college. $120K by Michael Dell Foundation. Gave me a college scholarship. So I remember, if I didn't get a scholarship, I couldn't have go to school because my dad couldn't afford it. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to college in a different city, not even in the same city. No one left my city. Any of the kids, even the top 1% barely left the school. I think one kid went to Harvard, one kid went to Yale, a couple went to UT Austin. Because it was in Texas, right? So second paradigm shift, college. Oh shit, no parents, no rules, nothing. Who do I want to be? Completely shifted my identity, completely. I started listening to rock. I started skating, started completely shifting because I love that culture. And culture is a big one. It's called anthropology, the study of human culture, right? I'll explain why that plays a role. When I went to college, complete new identity, new friends for the first time, you know, talking to girls, magnetizing people, you know, away because I didn't have anyone it was a different city. No one knew me. So I could be anyone who I wanted, right? In fact, joined a business fraternity, taught me everything about business. I have it tattooed on me, laid the foundation for business, for networking, for sales, for speaking. Ended up becoming a promoter at a club, started magnetizing people, ended up becoming a DJ, DJing for parties, gathering people. And it was just 4 years of like a completely different lifestyle. And then I graduated, came back to Houston. So now I had to mix my identities. I have this whole new persona, but I have to go and re-assimilate with this old one, but do it differently because now I'm different. I'm not like who I was. So I'm seeing all these same people. I sometimes hang out with them, but I'm like, I'm not them. I'm a college graduate now. So a month after I graduated, corporate job. So now suiting up, completely shifted identity again, another third paradigm shift. I'm like, all right, I'm suited up. Started making money, bought a car, nice car in the hood, nice Lexus, my first car. Taking care of my parents. Here's money every month. Still living at home, by the way. I came back to my house. And then I worked for 3 years. I ended up making my boss $49 million. I remember specifically. It was a software that I developed, and he ended up licensing it out. I didn't get a piece. So I'm like, fuck it. Next paradigm shift. I quit. Send a letter in. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to do it by myself. Ended up my first year in business. I have a couple of side stories too, where I got scammed by some partners and this and that. I had to go back to a job. But the whole thing is, when I change my identity, I don't go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go backwards in life. Ended up shifting one more time. Now I'm an entrepreneur. this one big ordeal happened where I ended up shifting my complete identity away from shit that didn't benefit me. I stopped drinking. So no more partying, no more drinking, no more raving, no more DJing, nothing, no more going out. Complete, like, one day cold turkey stop. Now I'm an entrepreneur. What do entrepreneurs do? They read, they write, they attend events, they network, they personal brand, they post about themselves, they do sales, they get clients. First year in business. Remember, I was slaving away for $4K a month, 12-hour shift. I was in healthcare consulting, 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, like a nurse. Brutal schedule. Became fat, 210 pounds, unhealthy, drinking every weekend, as my coping mechanism. So I'm like, all right, who the fuck is this guy? Remember that question? Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, he thinks he's making money. He has a car. He has a nice car. Like, he still lives at home, but he takes care of his parents. But, like, who the fuck is this guy? Cold turkey, stop. All right, new identity. Entrepreneur. Got an apartment with a business partner. Started a business. First year in business, $250,000. Second year in business, $1 million. Third year in business, $4 million in a month. Money was okay, right? So I'm like, what's next? What's after the money? Oh, let's do some side quests. I ended up writing a book, becoming a bestseller, going on a speaking tour. That's when spirituality came. And I was like, all right, I need to become a student. How do people rank up? So in summary, about me, I'm like a lot of other people. They came from difficult backgrounds and they persevered through. I'm also unlike a lot of people because the way I navigate it is very unique. And one of the most important skills that you can have as a human is to learn to play the cards you're dealt correctly. And when I mean correctly, is to your advantage. Because you can't pick the card you're dealt, but you can play the hand like you enjoy it. So I got dealt these cards, and I'll give you these other stories that shaped me. So I had my father pass away. My brother ended up passing away because of drugs. So he OD'd like 2 years ago. So I had all these ups and downs in life, like this, crazy emotional ups and downs. I don't talk about that story a lot, but it shaped me. The reason I went sober, because my brother wasn't able to, was the opposite end of the spectrum. The reason I quit, trying to be hood, is because I lost people in the hood. The reason I stopped chasing, because I wanted to become magnetic and attract. And the reason now I'm going towards this route of maxing my stats and being a polymath and sharing my story is because I know I can relate to a lot of people. And that's one of the most important skills, being able to not just book smart, but street smart, but able to connect with everybody. That's why at the gym, there's 20, 30 groups of friends. That's why I mentioned when you said your boxing group. It's a very important group. You can't outdo, that's your boxing. That's the group you get better at that skill with. But you might also have your writing group. You might also have your spiritual group. You might also have your meditation group. You might also have your men's mastermind group. So you got to be versatile as a man. So that's one of those things. So that's the story.
Welcome to the Martin Show first ad break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh? Wow, my brother. There's a lot in there and we'll go into a lot of all these different parts, but I do want to go to corporate Ali. And because you left a life that most people want, the corporate American, as you call it, the partying, the materialistic type things.
Yep.
But I want to talk about the cycle because a lot of men, specifically younger men, are in that cycle of working Monday to Friday, working hard. You're working hard.
I worked hard. I worked my ass off. Yeah.
And then you'd send it over the weekend and you'd lose all that momentum.
Yep.
How did you break that cycle?
Addictions is a very important subject. Okay. There's good addictions and bad addictions. And I only mean by what I mean by good and bad, there's some things that to your advantage, some things to your not to your advantage. I'll give you an example. If you have a drug addiction, it's the same receptors in your brain. It's the same need and want as going to the gym. Same addiction, different end of the spectrum. So a lot of people are addicted to comfort. So that's why they work Monday through Friday, because that's what they know. They're comfortable in that. That's why they party Friday through Sunday, because they're comfortable in that. And they get stuck because they don't know any better. So that's the whole point of School of Alchemy. I'll give you an example. What does Andrew Tate fight against? What's the antagonist that Andrew Tate fights against?
Comfort.
A little bit deeper. The Matrix. The
The
Matrix. So Andrew Tate is fighting against the Matrix. Iman Ghatzi, what is he fighting against? The broken education system. I'm fighting against lack of awareness. Alchemy is being aware of different states and how to move the states advantageously to your advantage. That's a big thing. So people that go through this cycle, all they are is lack of aware. They're not aware that there's a better way to do it. That's why people are stuck in jobs. We're taught work, exchange your time for money, work 40 hours, work till 65, retire with a pension with low amount of money, and that's life. We're not taught better. Lack of awareness. If we're taught better, if we learn better, we have the awareness, then we could do something better. I'll give you an example. If I'm working out at the gym, but I'm working out wrong, will I have results? Maybe a little bit. But what if someone tweaked my workout a little bit that gave me better results? Now I'm aware of a better way to work out. When I was fat, I was like, eat less, work out more, run every day. I didn't know. So I'm becoming skinny fat. I'm losing weight, but I'm losing muscle. I'm losing, mental capacity because I'm malnourished. But someone's like, no, in order to lose weight, you need to eat more intentionally, and then work out less, lift more, run less. I'm like, sounds fucking counterintuitive. Who the hell came up with this? And why don't they teach this? So the men that are stuck, all you got to do is become aware there's a better way. That's all you have to. Once you have the awareness is first step. Once you have the awareness that there's a better way, you will learn that better way. And once you learn the better way, you'll implement the better way. There's a better way to work. Oh, we don't have to exchange hours for money. We can only have 40, 50 hours a week when we're working. But who says you can't have 40, 50 sales a day? Who says you can't have 100 clients a month? Who says that? There's literally a cap on time. There's not a cap on sales. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just the awareness. So once and then even the thing, right? With girls, people are chasing, they're drinking to talk to girls. They sleep with multiple girls. They think, oh, there's a better way. Once you find out there's a better way, instead of investing your time with 100 girls and starting all over every weekend, how about you invest in one good one that the ROI will pay off? Oh, there's a better way? Oh, I thought we were taught more girls, a better ego. We're taught like that. Society conditions us like that. And it's a problem with across the board. It's a problem with politics, problem with society, problem with education system, even problem with religion. Everything we're taught wrong. We're even taught religion wrong. Religion, we're taught that God is an angry guy in the sky. Like I was taught, oh, you're Muslim. You can't have ear piercings. You can't have tattoos. I'm like, you're telling me all omnipotent God is mad at me for having tattoos. I think he has better things to do than that. He's not petty. And I would get into debates with people. That's not what God is. I'm like, you don't know what God is. Again, it's the lack of awareness.
What gravitated you towards this world of alchemy?
I'm a student, bro. I want to learn everything about anything and everything. That's it. I want to learn. Again, I want to be aware as possible. Okay. So when I started studying, it started with religion. It started with theology. There's monotheism, polytheism. There's 3 monotheistic religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, Christianity, Judaism. And there's actually a 4th one called Zoroastrianism from Persia, but it kind of died out. They all believe in one God. And then there's polytheism. You have Greeks, you have Hindus, you have Aztecs. They have multiple gods, right? For everything. And I was like, so according to everyone else's religion, I'm going to hell. That makes no sense. How? There's 8 billion people times 100,000 years. You're telling me 82% of people are going to hell? That makes no sense. Who came up with that? Oh, let's go deeper. Oh, there's 5,000 different religions. Which one's right? And then I started studying the similarities. This is the first paradigm shift in this thing where I'm like, oh, they all have the same lesson, but from a different perspective. So most people, when you debate with a religious person, they've only read one book, their own, the one that they were handed. So when I'm like, you're Christian, you're debating Islam. Have you read the Quran? No. All right, conversation ends here. Seriously. Oh, you're an atheist. Have you read all the books? Nope. All right, conversation ends here. You're not aware. I can't debate with an unaware person. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm aware about everything. No, I've just spent the time learning it so I can understand the other perspective. I don't have cognitive dissonance. The people that have cognitive dissonance, they're not even open to the idea of the other side. So when I started comparing all the theologies, I found there was more similarities than differences. That's why Noah's Ark story is in every culture, from the ancient cultures to the monotheistic religion. It's the same story. And I'm like, oh, so there is some truth to it, but who's telling it the truth? So then I came up with this philosophy. I didn't come up with it, but I adopted it. Omnism. The fact that every religion has truth, but not one is true. And that's why I say all religion is right and all religion is wrong. Because everyone's debating about the messenger. Is it Allah? Is it Muhammad? Is it God? Is it Jesus? Is it Buddha? Is it Krishna? All y'all are debating about the messenger, but y'all didn't get the message. It's the same message. Get the message, bro. Y'all missed the whole message to debate about the messenger and how it came to earth. Y'all missed it. And then when I did things like occult knowledge research, the hidden, occult means the hidden, right? People panic when I say occult. It's hidden knowledge, hidden from the public. So you read these books that were hidden. Everyone knows the Bible, Quran, the Torah, but no one knows the Emerald Tablets. No one knows the Tao Te Ching. No one knows these ancient scripts. When you read that, it's the same stories as these. So when I started comparing and contrasting, I found out there was more similarities. So I'm like, okay, if we're taught wrong about education, we're taught wrong about our bodies, I'm sure we're taught wrong about God too. So then went down the rabbit hole, then the conspiracies, then the paying for information that's not in there. And then I have all these theories, right? I have a theory of why the US invaded the Middle East. Middle East held most of the libraries. They invaded them to burn the libraries, to burn all the evidence of what true human potential is. A whole other rabbit hole we can get into.
Wow.
Because Mesopotamia was the Fertile Crescent. It's where the humans were technically born. It's the most ancient civilizations. Babylonians, Assyrians, Mesopotamians, and all the scripts were there from the years of history. So what did the US do? Go and bomb them and burn the evidence so they can program.
After all this knowledge and education that you've done for yourself on this, who or what is God to you now?
Great question. Very hard to personify, so I won't. God is an entity, all-encompassing, loving being. It's source. It's the root of consciousness. It's the root of universal principles. It's the root of kind of the universe as a whole. And I would say I would describe God as a energetic entity that's all-knowing and all-loving. So that's why all the religion says we come from God, we return to God. What happens when you die? You return to source. You return to the maker, right? So they got it right, but they got it wrong on how we went about. I also personally don't believe in heaven or hell either. I don't believe they're physical places. I believe they're states of consciousness.
Wow.
So God gave us free will. He gave us experiences. Then we could talk about karma and the law of cause and effect and how that plays a part. But in summary, God is a all-encompassing, loving entity that gives you these experiences for you to play this video game of life, learn the experiences, and when you break the loop, you go on to the next level. So that's pretty much the summary.
God's really on top of mind for me at the moment, especially being out here in Bali.
Of course, is the God consciousness. It's the energy that you tap into it.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. What really resonated for me, because again, I'm Muslim upbringing, right? So it's a lot of the Islamic principles, which I still hold to this day. I study this sect of Islam called Sufism. Sufism is a mystical sect. So there's Sunni Muslims, which is 80%. There's Shia. So think of the sects of Christianity, right? You have Catholicism, you have baptism, you have Protestantism, right? All those different ones. And they're different denominations. So Islam has the same. There's Sunni, there's Shia, and then there's the 1% Sufi. And the reason I really resonate with Sufis, because it's the ancient version, and they say there's no middleman between you and God. There's no sheikh, there's no priest, it's just you and God. So they do weird shit to get close to God. They'll even take psychedelics to go meet God. And it's frowned upon in Islam. But I really appreciate it because it's different perspectives looking up. But the reason I'm bringing that up, there was one line I read from a poet. You heard of Rumi, the poet?
Rumi.
R-U-M-I.
No.
It's a popular, everyone quotes him on Instagram and stuff. He's one of the Shakespeare of the Middle East, right?
Okay.
And he has very beautiful poems about love and divine connection to God and spirituality. So he does poetry. So he had a poem that I read translation of, and the way he explained God blew my fucking mind. And it was so different than what we're taught. Again, we're taught that God is an angry being in the sky. Like in Islam, they even say, if you listen to music, your ears will burn for 4,000 years. Like, what? Huh? That makes no sense.
Wow.
You know? And that's why you have like terrorism and stuff, people that take religion to the extreme. They completely miss the meaning of love and, turning the other cheek and, like manifesting abundance. So the explanation that he gave me of God, this will help the previous question. He said, people have God wrong. If you really believed in God, if you understood what God was, you would stop begging God. You would ask once and never ask again, knowing that if God was real and he loved you and he was as powerful as everyone says, what you ask for is already yours because God has the power to do it in 1 second. And if it's not, no matter how much you beg, you'll not get that. And I was like, oh shit.
Wow.
They taught us we're begging God. People are like, please let my sports team win. You think that's what God is? No. That's not how it is. It's a source, energy, omnipotent energy that you tap into. That's why you tap into abundance. You tap into the abundance frequency. That's why it's a frequency. God is a frequency. Now, people are not going to like hearing that. God's a frequency. And you can get on that frequency. And when you get into that frequency, you start co-creating reality. And when you're against that frequency, you're in the hell state where everything is tough for you. You ever had those days where you wake up, you stub your toe, people cut you off in traffic, you're not feeling good, everything's irritating you? That's a low frequency you're on. You're attracting more, you're magnetizing low frequency. And I know those terms, spirituality, frequency, manifestation, I know they're thrown around by the spiritual community, especially in Bali. But you need to understand both sides. You understand masculine, feminine, polarity, dark, light, happy, sad, rich, poor. You need to understand both because they're both same things of the different coin. Same, different sides of the same coin. Say it that way. They're both different sides of the same coin. You need both. Okay. And if you didn't have one, you can't have the other. It's just the laws of the polarity, rhythm, gender. People don't understand that. That's why a lot of the Bali guys or girls, just manifest it, it'll come to you. And then they never break past 5K all their life.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting. And then you have the people that are too logical, too, push. They're also stuck because they don't understand the balance both. But there's a energy you got to tap into. God consciousness, Christ consciousness, as they call it. Enlightenment,
So if alchemy is around transformation and going from pain to purpose, from lead to gold, how does one practice alchemy? Like, how do we practice alchemy in our day-to-day lives?
First thing you got to do is you need to identify what it is you need to change. Awareness, remember, is the first step. What do I need to change? I'll give you an example. Okay, I'm fat. I have asthma. I can't sleep right. It's affecting everything. I get brain fog. I can't work. I can't walk up the stairs. Is that something is it benefiting you right now, this state? Yes or no? It's not? Okay, what can you change? You can't go from fat to fit in 1 second. But you know what you could change? Your sleep pattern. You could change your food. You could change your, the amount of times you get, the steps you get, what you're doing in your free time. Are you drinking? Are you eating healthy? Little changes lead to big impact. So the first thing is aware. Then it's what you should change. I'll give you an example. All right, I'm making 5K a month. I want to make 50. I have family to feed. I have a mom. I have a wife. I have kids. I want to create wealth. What am I doing right now? Okay, I haven't read any books. I haven't met any new people. I haven't watched YouTube. I watch Netflix in my free time. I sit and waste a lot of time. I'm scrolling. Is that working for me right now? No? Okay, awareness. What can I change? First point is becoming aware, identifying. Second point is asking yourself, what can I change? Same thing. Let's go extreme examples. Death, breakups, life-threatening illnesses. Oh, you smoke every day. Your lung just collapsed. Do you need to change that? If no, continue doing what you're doing. If you do, figure out what you need to change. Oh, I should probably smoke. Okay, I can't stop. I can't alchemize that deeply where I can stop. Let's reduce it. Let's replace it. So once you identify, then you ask yourself, what do I need to change? Then you create a system where you can make a small change. And then it's just snowball effect. Like what I did first for my fitness journey, I started going to the gym every day. Felt good or not, liked it or not, busy with work or not, I'm just going to show up every day. Let me start with that. Second thing I did, hired a coach. It was exchange of services. So he gave me a few pointers that helped me. Now I have a full-time coach. Let's start a new skill. Let's pick up fighting. Picked up Muay Thai. Started surrounding myself with alpha males, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys have millions, but they can't even protect themselves. These guys, they don't have millions, but bro, they can fight the world. I like this.
Mm.
So now that you identified, now that you ask yourself, what can you change? Then it's making one small change. Then it's snowball into big change. Now I eat clean. I'm taking my supplements. I'm taking my peptides. I'm hanging out with fit people. I'm actually even considering myself fit. I call myself a fit guy. In the mirror, I'm like, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm fit now. And then when I changed my mind, the body started changing. That's alchemy. In relationships, same thing. Imagine you're having, okay, this is a funny example. You've seen a girl and a guy break up, and then the next week, the girl has the same type of guy, but a different person. They didn't alchemize. They didn't learn the lessons. They repeated the loop. Or same thing with the guy. So, oh, that's not my type. And then the next, everyone's like, you just got the same exact person again in a different human body, right? They didn't learn the lesson. They didn't alchemize. And then it goes deeper. Imagine one person facing the trauma and the triggers. The person's a mirror, waking up your traumas and your triggers. So if someone yells at you or cusses at you, you need to ask yourself, why is this pissing me off? Where's the root cause?
Wow.
How do I shift this? Because if I'll give you an example, I didn't like being yelled at my whole life. I don't like when people raise their voice. Now in the last 3 months, if people could be yelling, shouting around me, it doesn't bother me
Wow.
because I've alchemized that. But I used to remember anyone ever raised their voice, oh, bro, I would lose my shit. I would lose my shit. Whether it's my girl, whether it's my mom, whether it's my brother, whether it's my business partner.
Wow.
One time some guy yelled at me on a call. I cussed him out. The guy paid 50 grand. I cussed him out. I hung up. And then I thought about it. I was like, fuck. I didn't I let it bother me. I reacted wrong. And of course I messaged him. I apologized and we continued the relationship. Everything's good. But I got triggered. My girl, one time we were arguing. I said something. She shouted. Ooh, I got so pissed, bro. So one time my mom yelled at me for something as an adult. I got pissed at my mom. I just didn't like it because in Houston, someone's yelling at you, they're in your face, they're about to fight you. You're about to swing in your face. So like your body becomes tense. So now I have to alchemize no matter who's yelling. You okay, buddy? All right, cool. I'm not bothered. People can raise their voice, but that took me years.
Yeah.
But you see the example, I'm giving you applicable examples of shit that every time. So you asked, how do you alchemize stuff? It's just turning one form to the other. That's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of habits involved in this as well. It's habit changing. Do you have to go through darkness to become an alchemist?
Very fucking good question. I don't think so. Although the rite of passage is very important. I'll give you an example. If you had someone that passed away in your family, would I feel your pain? No, only you can feel your pain. You know what it did to you. I can empathize. I can understand. I can be like, damn, that sucks. But I won't be only that experience will shape you. You see what I'm saying? But there's many things that you can learn from other people. A smart person doesn't wait to make his own mistakes. He can learn from the mistakes of somebody else. Someone's like, I did this way. It didn't work. I'm going to do this way. I'm like, that didn't work. I respect you. I listen to you. You have the results. All right, I'm going to listen to you. That's why people pay fit people. Are you going to pay a fat person to train you that never goes to the gym, is unhealthy, can't? No. Even though he might be theoretically the smartest fitness guru, but he read all the books. But if he hasn't applied it, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
So smart person doesn't wait to make their own mistakes. They can. But people need the rite of passage. Every man should go through a lonely time. Every man should go through a time where they don't have any girls. They don't have any friends. And it's just them versus them and them getting themselves out of the hole. That's why a lot of times when people are babied, especially like children or like siblings, that's why there's a lot of gap in work ethic, because the first child or that one person went through poverty and this and that and darkness, and the other person got carried and they don't have the awareness to break through it. That's why a lot of the little bros are lazy. That's why a lot of the business partnership becomes one-sided. That's why a lot of the relationships break up. Because one person's and one person's just coasting along. And then when shit gets tough, they don't know how to handle it. So people do need to go through shit. I think every especially as men, and women go through shit too, of course. Especially as men, you got to go through it, get through it. There's a quote I posted. It's like, when adversity happens, everyone has 3 choices. You can either break down, you can break through, or you can break records. It's up to you. Which one you want to do? Break down, break through. Break down is like, we have our breakdowns. You got to get back up. Breakthrough is like, all right, you learned the lesson. You're not going to let it happen again. It's a wake-up call. And break records, like, fuck that. I'm never letting that happen again. Which happened to me my second time in business when I got scammed and I lost my job and I was sitting in my brand new car with no money. It's like, fuck, I'm never letting that happen. I'm not letting anyone scam me again. I'm not going back to job. I'm not drinking. I'm not chasing. This is what I want more than anything. I'm never going to go back. And then, yeah, I broke through.
Ali, you mentioned the passing of your father and your brother. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Would you consider that your darkest chapter?
Yeah, and it happened back to back. And it was crazy because, crazy story, I made $4 million in a single month. The next month, my dad passed. Pinnacle of peak entrepreneurship career, lowest low, father passed. So it was like law of rhythm. Wow. Craziest chart, right? You ever looked at a chart when it goes like that? That's how it was. And that was a huge wake-up call because you're not prepared for that. No one teaches you how to deal with that. And again, people pass and stuff, and I empathize, I hear you, and that sucks. You never understand until you deal with it. And then Friday, my dad passed. Saturday, I buried him. Monday, back to work. Mask on, back to work. I have 40 employees. I have a mom. I have my 3 brothers. I have a brother that suffers from addiction. I have my girl. I have people counting on me. Back to work. And then that's when I didn't release the trauma. I didn't understand trauma. I did exactly what my dad did. Put a mask on, back to work. And I slowly found myself becoming him. Not asking for help. Not taking time for myself. Not alchemizing. Not letting the trauma pass through your body. There's a crazy quote. God forgives, your body doesn't. The trauma stored in the body. People don't understand that. People are like, oh, trauma, stupid word. No, bro, that shit's serious. Go deal with something traumatic like that, life-changing like that, and go and not handle it correctly, it will catch up to you and bite you in the ass. So a lot of times when people have triggers and stuff, it's just trauma that they haven't handled, they haven't faced. And that's why you got to face death. Look it in the face and be like, what's up? What are we doing? How are we handling this? And it's your response. It might not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix that shit, especially if you're after 25. It's not your parents' fault. It's not religion's fault. It's not education's fault. It's not politics' fault. It's not your girlfriend's. It's your fault. After 25. In the beginning, it's not your fault as a kid, but then it has to be your responsibility. And if you don't change it, then it's your fault.
What did grief teach you that success never could?
Good question, bro. These questions are fire. Grief taught me to go deeper into the universal principles. Grief taught me that you need both. Because I experienced the high highs, I have to experience the low lows. And without the low lows, I wouldn't know what high highs are. I wouldn't know what love is. I wouldn't have gained appreciation for my father if he didn't pass. I would have been like, yo, this guy's a stubborn old Middle Eastern guy being very difficult to me. That's how I thought growing up. Now, I am so grateful of how he raised me because I see that other generation, and this generation's a bunch of pussies. And they don't have standards, and they don't have grit, and they don't have perseverance because they didn't understand what their father was trying to teach them. And I didn't learn that until he passed. I didn't learn how he was. Have you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yeah, bro.
So my dad was a poor dad. He was the one that didn't invest. He didn't take risk, but respect, loyalty, family, hard work, sacrifice. I couldn't have learned. I actually had a rich dad. Like I was a mentor. And he was like, risk it, this, that. He didn't teach me the life skills. He taught me, but without this foundation, this wouldn't have mattered. You need both. So grief taught me to understand the universal laws and how they play into effect, and taught me reflection. It taught me to look back and appreciate the moment and really learn. It taught me to break the cycle. It taught me to learn the lesson, break the cycle, And have you seen the book Principles? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, bro.
Ray Dalio, right?
Yeah.
There's a big chart in the beginning called the feedback loop. But the reason it's not like this, it's like this. Because once you get the feedback, there's a correction. You learn the lesson, boom, next level. Oh, next level, lesson, boom, and it goes up. So that's what grief taught me, that you need to level up. Like I handled my brother's death better than my father's. My father's I did not handle good. I lost $1 million. Relationships suffered. I was angry. I got, I was suicidal. I had so much pressure. I'm like, 2 families, employees, business, personal brand, like health. And when my brother died, bigger wound because it was my brother, but I handled it. I alchemized it better. I understood where God, comes into this, and understanding the energy is not created or destroyed. And then I read something that changed the game completely. It was like when people's mission is done on earth, they return to source. I'm like, my brother was a mission, not just for me, but for the people around him. And then I was like, oh, I get it. And so that it brought me a little closer to God.
What did it teach you? You mentioned the word death before. What did losing them teach you about death?
Oh, bro, you want to hear something crazy? After my father, I was scared of death. I was so fearful. I was like, I'm running out of time. My heart could stop any moment. I haven't accomplished anything. I was really scared of death. I stopped taking pre-workout. That's how scared I was of death. I didn't tell anybody. Only my girl knows. She's like, you good? I'm like, I can't take this anymore. She's like, what happened? Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I feel like my heart's going to explode. She's like, no, it's not. You're like so healthy, but I was scared of death. I was scared of death. It was weird, the weirdest thing. I would stay indoors. I would go for walks, but that's about it. I would avoid networking events. I would, what else did I do was pretty extreme. Yeah, no coffee, no medicine, no pre. And I would have panic attacks a lot, bro. One time I remember sitting in Austin, Texas in the barbershop, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm going to die now. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
Wow.
And then I went to go do ayahuasca. And then I fell into this mode where I appreciated death and what it means. And all it means is one energy form to the next. And that was a cool, trippy experience. So remember, I was scared shitless of putting anything in my body. Why? My father just passed. My brother was an addict. So I was like, I'm not putting shit in my body. Fuck that. I was so paranoid, bro. I have no idea. So anyway, I did 6 months of research, read 7 books, thousands of videos, every YouTube documentary, talked to everyone that did Aya. People just go into it and they're like, oh, I'm like, no, I need to know everything. Like, tell me the science behind it. Tell me which chacruna leaf and the copy vine, how long do they mix it? What do they pour on the mixture? How long do they cook it? Where does it come from? Why are they doing this? What does it teach you? Can you have bad trips? But I knew I needed to do it. So 6 months later, actually 1 year after my father passed, the day of my father's death, I was in sacred plant medicine ceremony. And I met God the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, where I actually felt the presence of God, like really, really trippy. It was a crazy story. So I had 4 cups in 4 days. Every cup was a different experience. Every single cup was a completely different experience. There was a moment where I'm like, all right, show me what happens after death. And then the next cup where I was like, show me everything's a vibration. Next cup, I was like, all right, heal my traumas. When I say heal my traumas, by the way, that was a tough experience. That was physically, like I was throwing up and I was shitting myself, and it was crazy because my body was releasing. And then when I said, this was crazy. When I said, show me everything's a vibration, 2 things happened. I did this. I'm sitting there doing this, and I felt every ligament to make this finger move. It was 43 ligaments, I remember specifically, to make this finger move. And then there was a moment where I was panicking. I was, am I okay? Actually, what happened was I was falling asleep like this. I was watching the shaman because you have a bed. Falling asleep like this. I'm watching the shaman sing, and I'm hearing him, and I was like in a trance. And my arm fell asleep. This whole arm fell asleep. So I'm like, I wake up. You know how you have Charlie horse or whatever, like the numbness. I'm like, all right, heart attack. Oh fuck, this is it. Oh my god, breathe, breathe, breathe. And I was like, remember the breath, remember the breath, remember, because I've been doing breath work for a year. By the way, I had asthma for 22 years. And 1 year of breath work completely got rid of my asthma when I started becoming healthy. That's a whole different story. But I was like, breathe. So I'm breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Box breathing, right? And then later I looked up the love frequency. It's 432 hertz. So I was like, this trippy shit going on. And there was a moment where I'm like, show me everything's a vibration. So I kind of fall asleep and I wake up. And I wake up. You know what synesthesia is?
Synesthesia. No.
I woke up in a state of synesthesia. Synesthesia, when you can see sound. Say that again. You can see sound. So the shaman starts singing. And I hear like the drums slowly start boom, boom, boom. He starts singing. It's in Spanish, Portuguese, English, whatever. He starts singing louder and louder. And then the vibration rings were coming out of his mouth. And I can see the vibration. So then he would hit the drum, boom. And I would see the ring come out, bounce off the wall, fade. So I'm seeing sound. So I'm like, oh, 432, ligaments, everything's a vibration. Everything's a vibration. This table's a different vibration. This water is a different vibration. Now, why the fuck aren't we not taught this in school? If I knew this, I would tap into this vibration as opposed to like, the other stuff. Money is a vibration. Scarcity is a vibration. So then I was like, and then the last cup, I felt a warm hugging behind me. And they call ayahuasca grandmother energy, Mama Aya. And I felt my grandmother energy because my grandmother raised me. My mom and dad were working when I was little, and I was the first son. So she raised me and my brother because she was at home all the time. So I smelled my grandmother, and it's grandmother energy. So again, I'm telling you these like crazy concepts, but my whole point is not to be too spiritual, not to be too nerdy, not to be too religious, not to be too any of this. It's to apply it into our life. What does this mean? There's other realms. We can only see 0.0035% of light spectrum. So that means 99+%, we don't know what the fuck's going on, even this time right now. There could be other entities here. We're not even aware of it. So grandmother energy taught me that there was different dimensions and we need to tap into these dimensions. So I tested it. I was watching a documentary with my girl before I went. And there was a moment the guy's like, he's like, ayahuasca, I was in this state where I was moving between two realms and I was snapping in and out of these realms. I don't know how he did it. But I was like, let me try it. So remember in Aya, you're still conscious. If you're like, oh, I'm tripping. All right, I gotta go to the restroom. You can get up and go like you're normal. And when you come back and you get into this trance again, then your mind starts, consciousness starts kind of creating its own kind of stories to help you heal, whatever. I think by the way, I think ayahuasca is an entity, and it's comes from the earth, and it goes into your body and knows how to heal it. Crazy story. They asked the shamans, who told you about Aya? Why'd you combine two different plants and vines together? Like who put this mixture together? And all the Amazon cultures say this. The plants told us. Huh? What? The plants told you what? Oh, this is healing for Earth. Earth needs it. In the Amazon, when babies are born, they give them a spoon of ayahuasca. Wow. Right? Welcome to the realm. Crazy, huh?
Do you still fear death?
Not anymore. I think I got over it. I understand that it's a different form of energy, just like, and here's where it really tripped me out. I communicated with, when I was younger, I was 13 when my grandma passed. I actually saw my grandma in like a few months after she passed. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't process it. But now that I think back, it's because I accepted the death. I was able to communicate with her. It was weird. It was a weird, I was playing video games in the upstairs living room, and her room was right here. Okay, so it's like a game room, playing on TV. And every day she would, she's Muslim, so she wears all white. She like always smelled good. All like think about like the perfect grandma. That's how she was. She wore all white, and she smelled very good. She cooked very good. She's very like hospitable. So you just want to like cuddle up with her as a kid, right? And so every day her ritual was when the call for prayer, the Muslim call for prayer comes. She gets up, she goes to the restroom, she does her like cleanup, right? And she goes and prays on the mat. So this is after like a month after she passed. I'm playing upstairs, and I see her walking from the room to the bathroom. And this is just a normal thing, right? So I didn't even bat an eye. I mean, I was just playing, and I hear the water turn on, and then I see her walking back, slow, little wobble walk. Door closes, Matt, and I can hear her like sit on the bed. It creaks because she prays on the side of the bed because she couldn't sit down. And like 2 minutes later, it registered. I was like, put the controller down. I was like, she's not like she's gone. Like what the fuck? Like it's almost like deja vu because I've seen that happen so many times. So I was like, I put the controller down. I walked over there, opened the door, no one there. Smell came, grandmother smell. I ran downstairs. My dad's like, what happened? This is like 8 p.m. The prayer is like when the sun goes down. It's like 7:45. My dad's home from work, right? He just got home. We're about to eat dinner. What happened? He's like, and I'm like, I think I just saw her name was we called her Amiji. Ami means mother or grandmother, and G means like it's a form of endearment. So you call it like, yeah, it's Urdu term. Or I would say in Arabic, Urdu, Sanskrit, all these languages like Middle East, India, Pakistan, all they have that. I was like, I think I saw her. He's like, what you mean? I was like, I literally saw her walk to the bathroom. I heard it and I didn't. She's like, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, I didn't think twice, but then it registered and I smell her. And then he came upstairs, he looked, and then I remember my dad was very stoic, very like no emotion, stoic, but he's a good father, but like didn't show any. So he sat down and he's like, because that's his mom. And he was very sad. It's the first time I see him cry when his mom passed. And he's like, let me tell you something. I believe you. I'm like, huh? And my mom was like, no, poor kid, whatever. He's like, I believe you. I was like, what? What? Why you say that? He's like, I've seen it several times. Like I felt it as a kid. I felt it, I felt entities like one time I was buying a house and I saw something in the mirror, told me not to buy the house. Like I've seen like I can see the sixth sense or whatever. I believe you. I'm sure she came to you. You were her favorite grandson. I was like, oh shit, and we cried together and like it was cool. But the reason because I understood, I was aware of it. And then the same thing happened in Bali with my brother. Once I did bufo. You know what bufo is?
Yep, bro.
So I did ayahuasca when my father passed. I did bufo when my brother passed. So
It's another plant medicine for.
It's another plant medicine.
people
For those that don't know, they both have the same molecule, DMT, dimethyltryptamine. It's already produced in your body. It's produced 3 times: when you're born, when you dream, when you die. It's the only times it's produced. What it does, ayahuasca is a drink. It's 2 plants. It's a drink, and what it does, it turns off your inhibitors, these sensors in your body. It turns it off, and because it turns the sensor off, the DMT spreads. Otherwise, it's limited. And it's slow. It's like an 8-hour trip. You drink it, it creeps up on you, and it's they say consciousness, mind, body, soul, spirit realm opens, and like all this shit happens. DMT, bufo, is a frog with it's a frog poison. This is not a combo. There's one called combo where they burn it onto you, and that's the purging one. No psychedelic experience, but physical experience. You purge, you throw up, you shit, you cleanse your body. Yeah, I've done that too. But bufo, you smoke it. So they burn the frog poison, put it in a vaporizer, and you take it. And it's 10 minutes in and out. Hold it, doof, you leave Earth. Your body, you fall over, and people just like they shiver, and they're like, "Do you leave Earth?"
Wow.
So like everything fractalizes, and you leave. So like I was scared. Shit, I was more scared of this than the other ones. Like I don't want to leave my body. Fuck that. I'm like sober. I don't even take pre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then I did another 6 months of research, asked all these people, and then finally I was called to it in April. And I was like, all right, fucking do it. So I did the first dose. Small, it's called the guy. Very amazing guy over here, by the way. Diego, very trusted, did 4,000 ceremonies. It's called a handshake. So he gives you a little bit, take like a quarter dose. So you feel like kind of like shrooms. Like, oh shit, okay. You're still good. You're still good. All right, let's go a little harder. Then he gives me like 80% one. It takes like 5 minutes between each one. This one, I was like, oh, fuck. You're like laying down. And then the third one, you leave Earth. They call it the God molecule. DMT, dimethyltryptamine, the God molecule. but it's 10 minutes condensed in and out. But all these plant medicines are just tools. I kind of dislike it when people abuse the tools. When they're like, oh, I'm on my 90th ayahuasca. It's like, bro, you didn't learn the first 89 times? Like, where's the integration period? Where's the changes?
Yeah,
That's why I don't believe in the whole men's group. Every Saturday, people goes to men's groups and they don't make any changes. You got to fucking implement it. You got to learn. You got to break the pattern. There's only so much talking you can do about it. Same thing with Aya. People get addicted to this. They get addicted to healing and they don't heal. They just keep in this process of, I got to heal, I got to heal, I got to heal. Well, unless you're a shaman, unless this is what you do for work, unless you take other men, you don't need 90. Go do one, integrate every lesson you learn. Okay, then level up, do it again, sure. But don't go to say like there's a guy I met here, he's like, bro, I do ayahuasca every other weekend. I'm like, and then he still hasn't passed 5K a month. He's still like angry dude. He's still not the healthiest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
So, yeah.
No, I love that. Welcome to the Martin Show First Ad Break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh? You got through the fear of death. What would you say is your biggest fear now?
My biggest fear is fear of failure. I don't want to die without achieving everything I'm supposed to achieve in this realm. So I do have a fear of failure, and that's why I push myself. But then also learning detachment and understanding that once it's my time, nothing I can do about it. You know, just maximizing every day, every moment, every opportunity, appreciating the good and the bad, the happy and the sad, the light and the dark, the easy and the hard.
In your alchemy journey, what do you feel like you need to transform in your life now to get to that next stage?
So right now I'm in a stage where I'm like focusing on my own brand. I have my businesses, but I'm focusing on me as a brand, me as a leader, me as a coach, me as an author, me as a speaker, because it's just going to add value to my brands. Right now I'm pushing the brands, or I'm pushing my clients, other people. Right now I'm bringing it back to home base. How can I become the best fitness, best in teaching, best in my craft, best in my expertise, best, father, best son, best, brother, best of everything, so I can serve others, right? I'm building other leaders right now. So I'm rebuilding my team into A players. So I found out I peaked and I was like, we all leveled, we all like plateaued. So now it's like, I need to improve my skill set so I can attract people with more skill set. So that's why I did the whole thing. I was like, hey, let me go back to teaching mode. Let me go back to writing mode. And I'm going to go on content, teach, again, better myself so I can just teach, because it's both sides of the spectrum. You learn so you can teach it.
Where does your curiosity come from? You and I have spoken about a polymath, being, I guess, educated and knowledgeable in multiple fields. But you have to be curious. You have to want to learn, follow math, want to read, all these sorts of things. Where does your fuel come from?
Knowing that I don't know shit. One of the most important things you can understand as a human, you don't know anything. We don't know shit. There's so much out there. So understanding that I don't know as much as I know, I don't know. So I just want to know. I want to know as much as I can, but I think it's a never ending journey. The more I know, the more I figure I don't know. So I'm just going to keep wanting to know. I'm just a student, bro. And I just want to learn better ways to do certain things. That's it. And then the best way to learn, you can learn from books. You can learn from YouTube. You can learn from audio. You can learn from conferences. The best way to learn is from people, from conversations like this.
I want to go to younger Ali.
Yeah.
Any age you want. Could be the young fella in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Could be the Ali that just lost his dad, his brother. What would you want to say to him, bro?
Good question. Actually, to all the Alis, all the different versions, 8-year-old version, 80-year-old version, post-death, pre-death version, post-struggle, pre-struggle version. The thing I would tell him to do is focus on your health. What I mean by that, I don't mean physical health. I mean mental health. I mean spiritual health. Just focus on that, because the more you go into that, your container becomes bigger. If your container is this big because of the awareness, because you haven't learned the lesson, anyone pours a little bit extra, it'll break or it'll flood out. But if you raise the cup made the cup bigger. You can keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring. More shit happens, you have to alchemize it more. You get. So I would just say focus on your health. I would one thing I would have done, I would have started fighting sooner. I would have gotten jacked sooner. I would have gotten fit. I wouldn't say jacked, but like fit. I would have started not drinking, not doing. I wish I learned it when I have a son or a daughter from birth. They're fighting. They're just learning the importance of the discipline of health. That's it. Eating mindfully, but enjoying food too, but eating mindfully. You know, having fun, but taking care of the body. You know, being holistic, well-rounded, stretching, yoga, fighting, dancing, whatever the case may be, just taking care of the body. So taking care of that, taking care of the mental health. Yeah, I would have even told early Ali, hey, don't be on the computer 18 hours a day for 2 years. Don't do that. Even though it sounds right, it's not right. Like, okay, go 6 days a week, 1 day completely reset, and then go harder the 6 days. So I would just be take care of your health. Because when you're the healthiest version of yourself, that's the best gift you can give everybody around you. Because you're healthy, you're inspired, you feel good, you're motivated, there's no fog, brain fog, there's no crash. You're like always in go mode. And think about it, if I'm like that unhealthy, imagine if I'm healthy, I'd be double, triple energy.
Ali, my final question. If everything that you've built, created, shared, the businesses, the content vanished, gone, and you had 60 seconds left, what is the one final thought, the final message that you'd want to leave with the world?
I would say 2 things. I would say find the best company you can find, company around you, and pick a book and discuss it together. Pick a book and discuss it with it. There's multiple facets to that. One, even you got 60 seconds left, you're going out with a state of learning, expanding your awareness, understanding you don't know everything, and then you can learn everything and then get to the next level. And then the whole point of having company around you is having the other perspective. It's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the company you keep. Because even if you're like shittiest job in the world, you have a good friend around you, it's fun. Even if it's the hardest time in your life, you have a good partner, a girlfriend, boyfriend, it makes it worth it. Even if things are tough in business, you have a good business partner, you're like, fuck it, we'll get through it. So like company is very important for more reasons than one. To have support, because humans are tribal creatures, right? We don't work good in isolation. Isolation works only for a little bit of time. And then when you have to go and connect and reconnect and elevate the frequency. Just like if I'm working out by myself versus if I work out with a guy who's in fitness. If I go and fight by myself versus I go fight a fighter, I'm going to get better. If I'm making 5K a month, but I go hang out with someone making 500K a month, I'll catch on to that frequency. So we have to have that, the social currency is very, very important, social alchemy, turning your connections into capital, turning into friendships, turning into partnerships. So reading and people.
I love it, brother. Ali, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where the previous guest asks the next guest a question not knowing who they are. Stephen Bartlett, I know you're a fan of the bro as well.
Okay.
The question for you today is, what do you value the most in a relationship and in a woman, and why?
Great fucking question. I have an amazing woman. I couldn't have made it this far without her. And it's been 5 years, so she's seen me through the ups and downs and still with me strong. The one element that I've seen is they have to be your biggest fan. Your woman has to be your biggest fan. If she's your biggest fan, she's your biggest supporter. If she's your biggest supporter, she will understand your strengths and weaknesses, and she will push you for you to become the best version of yourself. If you don't have that, then a woman becomes a bill. It becomes time wasting. It has to be give and take, of course. Relationships both. There's give, there's take. There's facing the traumas, healing your traumas. There's helping her become the best version of herself. It's guiding her and holding her through the flame and the fire. When she's having her moments, you got to hold frame. But the best thing to do for that reason is for her to be your fan. If she's your fan, you're going to appreciate her. You're going to understand that she's there to push you up, and you're going to hold space for her when she needs you because she's your fan. And because you held space, she becomes a bigger fan. That's one of the most important qualities, very underrated quality. Your woman's not the biggest supporter in what you do. You got the wrong woman.
Ali The Alchemist. Ladies and gentlemen, where can the people find you, brother?
So I have a all the socials are pretty much the same. Ali The Alchemist 333. YouTube, Ali The Alchemist 333. I'm dropping the book soon. Alchemy of Abundance. Got the school community. Got Faith Over Fear merch. I'm actually having a shipment this week, so I'm going to get you a shirt before I leave.
My brother.
Yeah.
Nah, man, thank you for being here. Like I told you, bro, to a kanatena, man, a little brother to a big brother looking up. It's inspiring.
Bro, you had some excellent fucking questions that made me think, and they weren't surface level, like, you know. So I really appreciate you doing the DD. And then this thing was cool, having, you know, relating it. And I reached out to you because I saw the way you were interviewing somebody else, and I'm like, keep it up, bro. Keep doing that. Keep being a student. Keep asking the right questions and learning, because what's gonna happen after the end of 400 podcasts, you're gonna be the smartest motherfucker in the room. That's it.
That's the plan.
Let's
Thank you, my
go.
brother. That concludes another episode of The Martin Show. We will drop Ali's details below. Make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel. We're also going to drop _ The Martin Show. And we're going to be back next week for another episode. Make sure you show some mana today. Go get it. Kia ora.